All rise. We will obey. Please be seated.
Thank you, witness. Welcome back. Mr. Khan, continue.
I'm grateful, Mr. President. Witness, you remember saying yesterday that supporters of the Yes campaign were not allowed to speak on the 19th of October 2005. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, Your Honor.
For example, you said Stephen Tarus wasn't allowed to speak. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I seek to play the same video, Ken D09-0043- sorry, Ken D09-0043-0238, and in the transcript it's at 0487.
Is that tab again? I just
Mr. President, it's tab 31 of the first bundle, and the ERN starts at Ken D09-0043-0482, and the extract I'm going to play is at 0487. So if that could be played starting from 12 minutes and 44 seconds.
Rais Mheshimiwa Mama Lucy Kibaki, waheshimiwa wabunge, waheshimiwa wageni wote, pamoja na jamii ya Wakalenjin ambao wameweza kufika hapa siku ya leo. Yangu si kusema mengi, lakini nawashukuru kwa sababu muna imani yenu na muna haki yenu, na ningependa niseme ya kwamba siku hii ni yetu sisi wote tukutane na tutasema kitu kimoja kabla siku hiyo. Asanteni sana. Asanteni sana.
That can be stopped. Witness, and we're stopping it at 1341. Witness, you saw the person that was speaking on the earlier portion of the video. Perhaps we can just rewind it and get a timestamp. You saw the person speaking previously, this person on screen, at timestamp 1324, 13 minutes and 24 seconds. Can you recognize that person?
Recognize.
That's Stephen Tarus, isn't he?
Yes, Your Honor.
And he was speaking, was he not?
Because I was
he speaking, Mr. Witness?
He was speaking, but
And
let me
Mr.
put
Witness.
it in record, Your Honor, so that you cannot take it this one. You can hear the background. It was shouting. Even he shot his speech with less than a minute, because he was saying thank you at last minute, but the shouting was not even heard. They could not even listen to him. The background.
Witness, you said yesterday he didn't speak. Do you accept, Mr. Witness, allow me to finish, please, and the President will allow you to give your answer. Witness, you accept he spoke on the 19th of October 2005. Is that right?
I accept he speak by just, even the noise was higher, but he was trying to stop at a high voice so that he could pass his message. But he could not allow to speak. But the background was so bad. I was there, Mr. Your Honor.
In fact, Witness, you were trying to paint a picture to the prosecution that was quite different from reality. Isn't that right?
It's not right, Your Honor. I'm just talking what was there, and I'm not refusing that he talked that particular time, but he talked at the top of the voice. So he was passing his message using the whole good way to talk.
Mr. President, I will refer to tab 29 of the bundle, of the defence bundle, the first binder, Ken D09-0043-0154, and it's a front page of the Daily Nation, Nairobi, Thursday, October the 20th, 2005. And it's a public document. At the bottom, there is a short article, MP storm out of Nandi Festival. Kibaki leads freedom fighters' centenary celebrations. And in the first column, in the second paragraph, it says, and I quote, in the second paragraph, and I quote, President Kibaki appeared surprised when MPs Gideon Moi, brackets Baringo Central, Charles Ketter, brackets Belgut, Joseph Lagat, Eldoret South, Nick Salat, Bommet, Noah Arap Toh, Enamoy, Paul Sang Buret, and Eldama Ravines, Musa Sirma, S-I-R-M-A, stormed out of the fete after being denied a chance to address the crowd of more than 30,000. Do you see that, witness?
I can see that. That was maybe because of the time. But
witness, do you see that?
I can see the story.
Yes. And witness, for example, Charles Ketter was part of the No campaign, wasn't he?
Yes, Your Honor.
In fact, all the people who stormed out were part of the No campaign. Isn't that right? All the names listed there are members of the No campaign. Isn't that right?
You divert to the group that went out, maybe because they didn't get a chance to speak. But the other group was get a chance, but they didn't get a chance because of this lot of noises in the background. And I wish you could have been there. And I wish the whole group would be, the picture would show the public in this when Mr. Tarus was speaking. Then you could see for yourself.
Witness, you accept that, for example, Mr. Gideon Moi, he stormed out of the fete?
Maybe he stormed out because of the time he couldn't get to speak, not because he could deny to speak.
You agree he left the fete?
I can remember even walking. I was seeing there. I see them walking out.
Charles Ketter, you recall that he left the centenary event on the 19th of October?
Let me put it clear. Because they didn't get a chance to speak. Because of the time, not because they could not refuse, like the other group which was denied to speak freely.
So you confirm, witness, that it's true that all these people stormed out of the fete on the 19th of October 2005. That's a correct report by the Daily Nation. Is that right?
It is correct, but yes. Not because they were denied to speak, but because they didn't get a chance because of the time. No, they did like the other group, which they wanted to speak, but they were shouted down.
You see, witness, what I'm putting to you is that, Stephen Tarus, that we've seen previously, he was a minister, wasn't he?
He was assistant minister.
And President Kibaki, of course, was the head of state.
Yes, well.
And other ministers also spoke, didn't they?
I'm telling you, as I said, even during my testimony, I said the whole group, whenever they want to stand, they could stand softly shouting down. And it was a pressure from the group.
You see, what I'm saying, witness, and I want to be quite clear about it, is the complaint on that day, in fact, was that members of the No campaign that Mr. Ruto was part of, members of the No campaign, MPs, they stormed because they thought they had not been given proper time. Not, as you say, that it was ministers who were denied deliberately a chance to speak.
That's
right, isn't it?
If this video is good, let's play the whole group. Then we can see that this is fairness here. Then. I know that the group left because of they didn't give a chance.
And did the prosecution show you this video?
I was narrating my story. They were not, I didn't give out any audio because maybe they didn't get a chance to get it.
Did they ask you for it, if you had a copy?
No, I don't have a copy.
Did the prosecution ask you, do you have a copy of that event, of inciting? Did they ask you?
I'm not an expert to give out my I was just giving out my testimony the way I knew about it, the event.
Witness, did the prosecution ask you whether or not you had a video of the 19th of October 2005
they ask, I cannot
event?
remember. If they ask, I cannot remember, Your Honor.
Mr. President, I'd asked to tender as an exhibit, firstly, the Daily Nation article Ken D09-0043-0154. The witness, it's not made with criminal proceedings in mind, it's contemporaneous, and the witness accepts that he recalls the individual's name therein, leaving the event on the 19th of October 2005, and I'd ask that it be exhibited, please.
Mr. Garcia?
No objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Bassman?
We have no objection.
Document is admitted as the next Ruto defense exhibit.
Mr. President, I'm most grateful. And also I'd ask that the video and the accompanying transcript also be exhibited. The video that we've played and has been seen is Ken D09.
One thing at a time, Mr.
So firstly the video, Mr. President.
Let's do the officer.
I'm so great. I do apologize.
Yes.
The newspaper article bearing number KEN D09-0043-0154 will bear the number EVD T D09-00300.
Thank you so much. Next, Mr. President, the video, which is Ken D09-0043-0238, and the accompanying transcript, which the witness has confirmed is a proper transcription of what's been played and translation at tab 31. Ken D09-0043-0482. I'd ask that those two also be exhibited, please.
Mr. Garcia?
Prosecution has no objection, but a reservation as to the integrity, as to whether that is indeed the full video or not. But we don't object to it going into evidence.
And
Weissman?
We have no objection.
The video and the accompanying transcript are admitted onto the record as the next Ruto defense exhibits.
The public video KEN D09-0043-0238 will bear the number EVD T D09-00301. The related transcript bearing number KEN D09-0043-0482 will bear the number EVD T D09-00302. Both documents are public.
Thank you.
I'm grateful. Mr. President, can I say for the record that we do invite the prosecution without delay to subject that video to any expert analysis with a view as officers of the court whether or not they wish to challenge it or waive any objection. So we do invite them to subject it to analysis without delay. Your Honour, one last question on this topic, and perhaps we should go into private session for a moment.
Before we do, can you bring back onto the screen Ken D09 0043 0484. Witness, can you look at lines 67 and 68, and also line 75? 67, 68, that's Mr. Ruto, and he says, quote, "Challenging people, I want you to be quiet so that we can talk, okay? Let us greet each other by waving our hands, challenging people," unquote. And then at line 75, he also says, quote, "I would like to say this, and I want you to pay attention," unquote. What do you think he's doing there?
Actually, he's doing that at that particular moment when he was talking, because there was a lot of cheering at that particular moment.
Was it cheering him, or was it a lot of noise, the same sort of noise that Mr. Tarus was experiencing, or where the noise is different?
No, it's different. This one is different. But the other one was Tarus was just wanted not him to talk.
All right, thank you. Council, you can ask follow-up questions from...
I'm grateful. In fact, Mr. Witness, in that extract, Mr. Ruto is calming the crowd down and telling them to be quiet, because they were very noisy, weren't they, on that day? They were very noisy.
No to everybody, Your Honor.
Well,
Mr. Khan, the witness says that noise experienced by Mr. Ruto was different in order and type from the noise experienced by Mr. Tarus.
Mr. President, the video's in evidence. I'm not going to belabor the point. Your Honours can look at it, and I invite the prosecution as officers of the court to subject it to analysis and to consider their position with this witness. Mr. President, we can go into private session.
Private session.
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Witness, we are in public session, but dealing with 2005 and your narrative to the prosecution over many, many days and to the court since last week, you confirm that in 2005, the main concern of the No campaign was to unite as many Kenyans as possible to defeat the proposed constitution. Is that right? That was their aim. It was to defeat the proposed constitution put forward by President Kibaki.
Yeah, of course, if any group wanted their group to win, either no or yes.
And the version of the constitution that was promulgated, that was put forward, that was proposed by President Kibaki, that's called the Bomas draft, B-O-M-A-S. Isn't that right?
It was not proposed, but it was something was made by the Ruto Parliament. I'm not a parliamentarian. I don't know even. I will not talk as a lawyer, but I was just saying it was a draft constitution, which come through some process, which I cannot explain that because I'm not an expert on that.
Are you aware, because it was in newspapers and TV at the time, that that constitution that was being voted upon, that was called the Bomas draft? Are you aware of that, or you don't know?
I can remember it. Yes, I can remember there was something like that.
And the proposal that the No campaign wanted adopted, that was called the Kilifi draft. Do you remember that?
If we got such a details, I cannot remember, Your Honor.
And as part of the quest to defeat the proposed constitution in the constitutional referendum of 2005, it stands to reason, does it not, that the No campaign wanted as many votes as possible? You agree with that, do you?
They use their own propaganda to win. And some of the words that were said, even that after this constitution passed, then your lands will be taken away, was not even, I don't think it was there. But it was their propaganda. Anyway, finally they win.
And as part of that aim, they had, the No campaign had various rallies. That's right, isn't it?
They do.
For example, they had a rally at the 64 Stadium in 2005. That's right, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And there were very prominent members of all communities, all ethnic communities in Kenya that were part of the No campaign. Isn't that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
For example, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, as he then was, he was a prominent member of the No campaign, wasn't he?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it's right, isn't it, that Uhuru Kenyatta is a member of the Kikuyu community?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tony Gachoka, he's a well-known Kenyan, isn't he?
Yes, Your Honor.
Gachoka, Gachoka. And he's also a Kikuyu? Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mumbi Garu, Ngaru, another well-known Kikuyu member of the No campaign. You know that lady, do you?
I know.
Yes, and you know the lady, and you know also she's a member of the Kikuyu community.
Yes, she is.
So members of all communities part of the No campaign, that's right, isn't it?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you attended the rally at the 64 Stadium in Eldoret in 2005, is that right?
I cannot remember that.
Well, let's play the video. Your Honour, the transcript's at tab 45, and I'd ask to play Ken D09-0042-0553.
Is it already part of the evidence in the case? Admitted?
Mr. President, it's already been MFI'd. It hasn't yet been exhibited. And before we play it, Mr. Witness, you can just stay on the screen. In your statement to SIPEV, Your Honour, it's tab 53 of the prosecution's binder. In your statement to SIPEV, and it's a Ken OTP-0036-0064, you said this at paragraph 4, and I quote, that the referendum, you made oath and state as follows, quote, that the referendum campaigns, all people supported the draft constitution, were regarded as Kikuyu sympathizers. Therefore, the enemies who should be attacked and silenced. ODM leaders held 2 rallies at Stadium in Eldoret and 1 at Kapsabet Showground, in which the leaders incited the people against Kikuyu. The Banana supporters held a rally at Huruma grounds under tight security because of the hostility of the Orange supporters, end quote. Now, witnesses, when you went over the SIPEV statement with the prosecution last week, didn't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you made some corrections, but you didn't correct that. So I take it that that's a true statement in your affidavit that you stand by?
It is.
I'm grateful. Mr. President, if we could proceed, please, to play the video.
Just for the record, Your Honor, I understand Mr. Khan said that it was last week. It was actually from 10th to 20th of November, the preparation session.
Yes, I'm grateful for my friend. Mr. President, I'm referring to the transcript at tab 45, which is Ken D09-0042-0554. Starting for time, I'll just play a couple of extracts. Ken D09-0042-0559. So page 559, starting from line 121.
Kibaya tajitembeza. Kama katiba hii ni nzuri, mnada hii inaongeza.
Witness, can you see some words written on the microphone stand where Mr. Ruto is speaking in Eldoret 64 Stadium? Can you see those words?
Let me clarify here. Mr. Chomba is a businessman giving out these things. Even PNU or whatever could also, even us went to hire the same. So whatever it is, Chomba, you want to refer it because he was a Kikuyu. He was having these machines.
Witness, the question I think was quite straightforward. Can you see some words written on the stand?
It's Chomba. That's what you want to say.
Yes, thank you. We can continue playing, please.
Inayoongozwa na Mheshimiwa Rais akisaidiwa na Bwana Kiraitu Murungi, na pesa hizi zote zinatembezwa kwa masoko. Ni ya kitu gani kama katiba ni nzuri? Si katiba hii iko kasoro? Ndio inafanyiwa nini? Ndio inatembezwa. Jambo lingine, kuna baadhi ya viongozi wazembe ambao wanatuambia ya kwamba mstaafu rais hawezi kusema kwa sababu yeye amekwisha staafu. Niwaulize wa Kenya, Moi alistaafu kama rais ama alistaafu kama Mkenya? Na mtu akistaafu kama rais amestaafu kama Mkenya? Yeye ni Mkenya kama sisi, na hako na haki ya kusema na hako na haki ya kutoa maoni. Na wale wanao tangatanga wakisema Moi asiseme, tunawaambia Moi atasema, wapende wafanye nini? Jambo la mwisho, na hasa bonde la Ufa kwa ujumla. Tunajua jambo la Kiswahili ambao Waswahili wanatuambia yaliyopita si ndwele. Tugange yapi? Tugange yaliyomo na yajayo. Si inasemwa hivyo? Tunashangaa katika sheria hii. Tunaambiwa ya kwamba sisi watu wa Wasingishu sasa tutafanyiwa kesi. Kwamba wewe mlipigana na fulani, wewe ukapigana na fulani, wewe ukapigana na fulani. Hiyo maneno tunataka hapa Wasingishu ama tunataka kuishi pamoja? Tunataka kuishi pamoja ama tunataka kufanyiana kesi? Wale wanataka tuishi pamoja tuweke mkono juu tuone. Sawa sawa? Kwa sababu tunataka kuishi pamoja kama ndugu na dada, bila ya kujali wewe ni wa urefu gani, wewe ni wa umri gani, wewe ni wa kabila gani, wewe ni wa kutoka dini gani. Sisi kama watu wa Wasingishu tunataka kukaa kama ndugu na dada wa Kenya. Na hatutaki sheria ambayo itakuja kutugawanya eti tuende kotini tuanze kufanyiana makesi. Tunaelewana? Na kwa hivyo mimi nawaulizeni watu wa Wasingishu district na wa Kenya wenzetu, tarehe 21 tuseme no. Tarehe 21 tuseme nini? No. Na tutapiga kura kwa nini? Hebu kila mtu aliye na machungwa na asiye aweke mkono juu tuone. Hebu weka mkono juu wale watu wote watakaopigia Harambe.
Yeah, so if you can just stop there, please, at timestamp 12:56. Witness, that's the Eldoret 64 Stadium, isn't it?
Yes.
And you attended this rally. That's right, isn't it?
I can't recall, Your Honor.
Well, let's go through what Mr. Ruto said. And perhaps with the court officer's assistance, we could give the witness a copy of the transcript and translation. And witness, if you can turn to page 6 of that document for the court, a record, it's Ken D09-0042-0559. So, but pagination is page 6. Normal page numbering. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
And you see at lines 121, it records Mr. William Ruto speaking. Can you see that?
Yes.
Now I'm going to read this into the record, and if there's anything I say that you think is not said by Mr. Ruto in the video you've just heard, or a translation that you don't agree with, please just let me know. Can you do that for me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, you have to say yes or no just for the transcript. Would you be able to do that, sir?
Repeat the question.
If you, I'll read out the English.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Your
And
Honor.
if I say anything that doesn't correspond, that is inaccurate in relation to the Swahili text in the document you've got, or something that doesn't correspond to what you've heard on the video, can you please interrupt me? Could you do that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. I'm going to start reading, Mr. President, with your leave, at line 127, and I quote, Mr. William Ruto, quote, "Something that is good sells itself, but something bad goes around marketing itself. If this constitution is good, this faction being led by Honourable Kibaki and Mr. Kiratu Murungi, why is all this money being distributed in marketplaces if this constitution is good? Isn't it true this constitution has problems? That is why it is being distributed everywhere. Something else. There are some leaders who are telling us that the retired president does not have a right to comment on this issue because he is retired. Let me ask you Kenyans, did President Moi retire as a president or as a Kenyan?" At line 135, the crowd respond, and then the translation at 136, as a Kenyan. At 138, Mr. Ruto continues, and I quote, "And if somebody has retired as a president, has he retired as a Kenyan?" End quote. And at 142, the crowd respond, quote, "No." End quote. And I go over the page, Mr. Witness, to 1560. And do stop me any time if there's anything wrong with the translation. At 1560, Mr. Ruto says this, and I quote, "He is a Kenyan like us, and he has a right to comment and give his views. And those who are going around saying that Moi should not talk, we are telling them that Moi will talk whether they like it or not." The crowd respond not. At 154, line 154, Mr. Ruto continues speaking, and the translation at 156 says this, quote, "Finally, especially as far as the Rift Valley is concerned, there is this saying by the Swahili people that say bygones are gone and that we should focus where?" The crowd respond ahead. At 162, Mr. Ruto speaks some more, and the translation at 167 is this, and I quote, "We should focus on what is there now and on the future. We are shocked that in this constitution, we are being accused that us, people from Uasin Gishu, we have been fighting other people. Is that what we want here in Uasin Gishu? Or do we want to coexist peacefully with others? Do we want to coexist with others? Or do we want cases? And the crowd respond, KenyaMOJA, the translation at 173, quote, to coexist with others. You've heard that, witness? You've heard that?
Yes.
And that was the response of the crowd that you heard on the tape, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at 176, Mr. Ruto continues, and I quote, those ones who would like us to live with others, let's raise up our hands. And the crowd raised their hands. You saw that, didn't you, witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And at 186, the translation continues of Mr. Ruto's words in Swahili. And he's speaking Swahili, isn't he?
Yes, Your Honor.
186, quote, that is okay. This is because we want to live together as brothers and sisters without discriminating whether you are tall, what your age is, what your tribe is, or what your religion is. As Uasin Gishu people, we would like to live harmoniously as brothers and sisters from Kenya, and we do not want laws that will come to divide us so that we go to the court to accuse each other. Have we understood each other? And that is why I'm requesting people from Uasin Gishu district and my fellow Kenyans, what are we going to say on the 21st? 193, the crowd say no. Mr. Ruto continues, quote, what are we going to say on the 21st? End quote. And the crowd at 198 say no. 201, Mr. Ruto says, and I quote, and what are we going to vote for? And at 204 on page 0562, the crowd respond, orange. And then at 208, Mr. Ruto says, quote, everyone who has an orange, or who doesn't have, to raise up your hands so we can see. Just raise up your hands, all those people who will vote for orange. You see all of that, witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was the speech of Mr. William Ruto. There's nothing inciting in any of that, is there?
What is the meaning of the word wasembe?
Witness, please, you're here to answer my question, not the other way around. Is there anything inciting in this? If there is, please point the court's attention to it.
There is.
Okay, what is inciting?
Kuna wasembe.
What line are you on, witness?
I had in the video.
Take your time. Just go through the transcript. You've got the calendar, you've got the Swahili and the English. Please point out what you think is inciting.
That is 124.
Line 124. And what is the inciting language, witness, that you say is inciting?
Wasembe. Kuna viongozi wasembe.
Can you tell me exactly which line? That's on 124?
124.
And could you please just repeat the word?
Wasembe.
So is it the word, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's the second word from the end of that line?
Yes.
W-E-Z-E-M-B-E.
Yes.
Okay. What does that word mean? And you can use the translation below or give another translation if you wish.
It is W-A-Z, by the way. That's how it is spelled on the transcript.
W-A-Z-E-M-B-E. I'm grateful.
But there is no translation. If you say in English, there is no.
Okay, what do you say that word is?
If I can say the word wasembe is not the right word to use, especially in a public gathering like that. as a person of Honorable William Ruto, could not use that. If there is anybody who is not accepting retired president to talk, it should not be Wasembe. It's not Msembe.
Wasembe means lazy, is that right?
No. Wasembe, if I can see, Msembe, it's commonly referred to as somebody, it's like you take a third person. No, it's not the right word to use.
What word do you say is the right word for Wasembe?
Wasembe.
What do you say it means? Zembe and Wazembe? What would those...
Wasembe is plural. Huh?
Yes, Wazembe is a plural form.
Wasembe is somebody who's actually... I can call it an abusive word anyway. It's commonly used to somebody who is not... Yeah, it's not lazy as it has referred with the honor.
Do you think you can tell us what you understand the word itself to mean?
I cannot talk directly, but it's always commonly word used to talk to somebody. When you tell somebody when Msembe, you are accusing that person. You're accusing that person, not actually, it's not the right word to use.
Accusing somebody of what, witness?
Abusing somebody.
Yes.
Can you help us a little bit more? Abusing them in what way? It's a criminal court. Please don't feel shy. If you think there's a meaning, a translation to the word Wazembe,
if you tell me,
please give it to the court.
In a Swahili, I cannot tell directly the meaning, but if you tell this a person, even I tell you when Msembe, that's not. I'm not saying you. I'm not saying you are lazy.
Okay. Witness.
Where when he. Msembe.
All right, let's do this. Witness, look at the sentence in Swahili. Begins with Jambo Lingine. I think that's it. Kuna pati ya viongozi wazembe.
Yes.
What does that mean? Just that sentence, the whole sentence. Can you read it out yourself? Read out the whole sentence and tell us exactly what it means, if you can.
Yeah. Ndio inafanywa hii. Let me read. Jambo lingine, kuna baadhi ya viongozi wazembe ambao wanatuambia ya kwamba mstaafu rais hawezi kusema kwa sababu yeye amestaafu. That is directly. Yes, I can say that the other word which are good that they don't want the president to talk is okay, it's okay. But the word wasembe is what I can refer that it's not actually should have him using that word. Because always is common, and I can even, because I cannot translate directly to Swahili, because I cannot remember by now, but I want to do further meaning from other sources, the word msembe. You can know that it is not the right word, it's abusive word, Your Honor.
President, perhaps with your leave, I don't want to go through Google Translate, but perhaps your Honours will authorise the witness to read that paragraph, or at least that line, in Swahili, and we'll have the assistance of the court interpreters to translate it.
That's a good suggestion.
I'm most grateful. So the document is on...
Mr. Ken, that suggestion would not work.
Okay, let me try something else. Witness, are you aware, you know the word Mazembe, M-Z-E-M-B-E. Are you aware of that word, M-Z-E-M-B-E? If you wish to write it down, please feel free.
Mm-hmm.
That means lazy, doesn't it? It's the single of lazy.
If it's lazy, it meaning, then what I know in Kenya, if you are being told Mzembe, it's not something you are being told lazy.
And I put it to you that Wazembe is the plural of lazy. Do you agree with that or not?
I cannot agree, but I can just put interpretations, what is always meaning when you are in there.
But the prosecution have got the audio, and they can also have their own translation to see if it's wrong. But you're saying in the whole video you've heard, that's what you say is inciting. Is that right?
Yes.
Right.
And also I can put that if somebody could say there are some people, the like of Kibaki, who are distributing money, which mean even no, they were using some money to campaign. But here, and also when you say that this constitution will make us to come and have some cases, it's already quoting some quotation which I'm already saying that they are quoting some sensitive word to make people believe that actually what they are saying, without saying that maybe this constitution could later mean that people could have some truth. But he was just telling people that these things are going to give some cases, and people now are taking that position.
So the mention about money being distributed, you say that's an example of incitement, is that right?
If I can talk directly the way he was meaning Kibaki and Murungi. And Murungi was actually somebody who is actually, by then, he was somebody perceived, a main supporter of Banana. And even if you say, we say here, all communities were there. But actually, the main targets were Kikuyus, even during that particular moment. It doesn't mean whether Uhuru was there or whatever, or who have said, but actually during the campaign, what was there? It was the propaganda which was created to give a perception that whoever supporting the other group was like having many things, like what is already taken, cases, land, it was there. But I cannot, it's not reflecting in this particular video. But some of the section, even the way Honorable was talking, you are seeing that Mzembe, Wazembe, other leaders.
Now, back to that word again, Wazembe. A witness, of course, it would have been much more helpful if we had known exactly what that word means. According to you, beyond just it being abusive, but it seems that you say you're not able to directly translate the word now.
Yes.
All you're saying is that it is an abusive word. Is that it?
Yes.
Who would be the subject of that abuse? Who's being abused by the word Wazembe?
He was talking about other leaders, which mean the leaders who were referring to the Banana team or whatever. Other leaders. I cannot just put it on myself. But what was there in the ground was actually somebody who was by then supporting the draft. And mainly the leaders who were actually head of this group.
So, in the context of that passage, would it then be those who were saying that, according to him, that the former president did not have a right to comment on the matter? would they be the ones being abused? Those who would have been saying that, if anybody said that?
Yes, because he was referring to supporting the retired president. But he called the leaders who actually said us to be Wasembe.
Thank you. I'll leave it with that, Mr. Ken.
Witness, so now watching that video and pointing out the language Wazembe that you say is inciting, does that help refresh your memory that that's the rally that you attended in Eldoret 64 Stadium?
I'm saying, Your Honor, you're just saying this, but I cannot remember really I can remember the messages which were said. It was almost the same.
Well, we'll play some more because you remember on the event you attended, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, as he then was, he came, didn't he, to the rally at 64 Stadium. So let's play some more and I'll ask you some questions. And if we can play the section starting at the transcript is 0563 and the timestamp is after 13 minutes and 49, sorry, after in fact, it has to be at 13:22, 13 minutes and 22 seconds. We start.
No to Kilifi. Tunasema nini? No to Kilifi. Inueni mikono wale ambao wamesema no to Kilifi. Haya. Kenya hii ni ya makabila nyingi na haswa nyinyi mkiwa wakaaji wa hapa Eldoret North. Muko hapa mchanganyiko makabila mingi. Mtakubali kuletewa katiba ambayo itakuja kuwagawanyisha na kuwapiganisha? Inueni mikono wale ambao wanasema wanataka kuishi kwa amani. Hawa ni wale ambao wanasema hawato to Kilifi draft. Haya. Masaa hatuna mingi na nimewaambia tuko wengi. Let us go back to the table. Sisi tuliongea, tuliwaomba, tukawaambia ni nini mnataka Wakenya wapigane, njoo tuketi, njoo tuongee. Sasa pahali ambapo tumefika, uamuzi sasa sio wa Uhuru. Uamuzi sasa sio wa Raila au wa Kalonzo au wa Kibaki. Uamuzi sasa ni wa mwananchi. Kwanza mwananchi aongee na sauti yake, alafu basi baadaye hiyo tunaweza kuketi kuongea. Lakini mwananchi kwanza aongee. Na sisi tuna haki ya kwamba mwananchi atasema la kwa katiba hii. Basi. Tuko na wenzangu ndeleshe.
And witness, in fact, you'll note that I made a mistake earlier. In fact, the government draft, it was the Kilifi draft, and I'll just say that for the record. But you saw Uhuru Kenyatta speak, is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I'm going to read what Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta said at the 64 Stadium, and he said this. And you, once again, witness, feel free to follow the transcript and please tell their honours if the translation, anything in the translation is missing or incorrect, or if the transcript doesn't accord with what you heard on the video.
Your Honor, if it can just be placed on the record as well that, and I've been observing the video and listening to the sound, that there are at the minimum 3 edits in the speech of Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta. So that's what I'd like to have placed on the record.
Your Honours, counsel should always be careful to say such matters in the presence of a witness, but I'm not disputing otherwise. The prosecution thus far have not alleged that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta was trying to get rid of Kikuyus, so I don't think really that's a matter of great controversy. Your Honours, we can proceed with the court's leave to line 233, and I quote, and witness, please intervene. Feel free to intervene if there's any...
Page.
At page 10, the normal pagination, and for the court it's 0563. And tell me when you're there.
I'm there, Your Honor.
Okay, so if you go to the top of the page please, and you'll see at line 233, Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta says this, and I quote, "Let us say no to Kilifi." What do we say? No to Kilifi. Raise up your hands, the people who have said no to Kilifi. End quote. You heard that, witness?
It's in the draft, yeah.
And by Kilifi, Mr. Kenyatta is referring to the draft constitution. Is that right?
Yes.
And that's the constitution that was being put forward by the government. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And you see at line 236, it records the crowds, quote, raising their hands. You saw the crowd raising their hands, did you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then at lines 241, the translation is this, and I quote, "Okay, this Kenya belongs to many tribes, and especially you as residents of Eldoret North. You are a mixture of different tribes, many tribes. Will you agree to be given a constitution that is going to divide you and make you fight each other?" The crowd at 246, line 246, say no. You heard that, witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's a proper translation of what was said by Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta in the video.
Yes, Your Honor.
And he continues in the translation at 256, and I quote, "Raise up your hands, those ones who would like to live in peace. All these people are saying no to Kilifi draft. We are running short of time, and I have told you that we have come, many of us. Let us go back to the table. We talked, we begged them and asked them, why do you want Kenyans to fight each other? Come, we sit, come, we talk. Now where it has reached the decision," and I'm continuing on to page 0564, line 260, "reached the decision will not be made by Uhuru or Raila or Kalonzo or Kibaki. The decision will be made by Kenyans. First, let Kenyans' voice be heard, and then thereafter we shall sit and talk. But first, let Kenyans be heard, and we are confident that Kenyans will say no to the Constitution. We are here with," and then it's ellipses at 1445. Witness, you heard that, did you?
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's a true and accurate translation of what Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, as he then was saying in the video. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so, witness, there's nothing that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta is saying that is inciting against the Kikuyu people, is there?
He's a Kikuyu himself.
Please just try and answer the question. There's nothing Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta says that's inciting, is there, against the Kikuyu community?
But is, according to what he's saying, is propagating the same propaganda which was created, that the new draft constitution would divide people. And actually, the way he was following the same suit that the other leaders were talking. That is part of their campaign to win.
Mr. Witness, sometimes, as I said repeatedly, an answer can be yes and no and then maybe be explained. Is there anything Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta said that was inciting people against his own community? There's not, is
We're in open session, Mr. President.
Thank you. Ms. Boside, is it that Mr. Khan didn't give you the MFI the last time, or that there is no MFI at all for the video?
The document doesn't have any MFI at all, Mr. President.
Right. And Mr. Khan, you wanted?
Well, Mr. President, in fact, I stand corrected. I think there's an application that was put in writing to have it MFI'd. But, Your Honour, I would actually ask to have it exhibited. And the reason for this is the witness has seen it. He has identified the individuals in it, namely Uhuru Kenyatta and Mr. William Ruto. And he has identified what he says is an example of what he says he believes to be inciting words, or at least one inciting word, at 0559, the word Wazembo. Your Honours, because of that, and that the comments really speak for themselves, I would ask that it be exhibited. And if it is indeed an inciting word, I'm sure the prosecution will not object.
Your Honor, the witness has clearly stated that this is not a rally that he attended at that time. And the whole point of the questions of Mr. Khan was just to get the witness to refresh his memory and see if he could get him to confirm that, which he hasn't. So I think the first instinct of Mr. Khan having it MFI'd is the right one. This is how we've proceeded with other videos.
Mr. Khan, the document will be MFI'd.
Grateful.
The video bearing number KEN D0900420553 will bear the number MFI T D09000303. The related transcript bearing number KEN D0900420554 will bear the number MFI T D09000304.
Can proceed. How much time do you have for this witness? I know we put a deadline of no later than Thursday evening to you, but if you can finish sooner than that, that's even better.
Mr. President, the last section on the 64 stadium took longer than I had hoped. There's in fact a lot of material to deal with. I'll do my best to try to finish by Thursday. Of course, I will understand the sentiments of the bench and will try to speed things up. Some matters yesterday, for example, an allegation regarding the 1st of October, I just touched and moved on. But I'll do my best to move swiftly.
But you're ending at any rate. There will be no extension on Thursday, the Thursday indication, so you know that.
Yes, I was grateful for that
So
indication.
the concern now is that you try and would even get us sooner to your finish line than Thursday.
I'm grateful. I'll do my very best. Mr. President, could we go into private session for a moment, please?
Private session.